Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous episode, we talked about sovereign citizens and how the people that believe in this conspiracy theory do that out of a deep frustration with society. They don't want to have to pay taxes and thus contribute to a broken system, and so they turn to this conspiracy theory to justify their decision to not follow any laws and don't pay taxes and basically don't have to be part of that broken system. And once I understood this, it made me look at other conspiracy theories, namely anti-vaxxers and flat earthers, and suddenly have a much better understanding of why people follow these conspiracy theories. But before we talk about them, we have to make one thing clear about conspiracy theories, and it is the main reason why people believe them. Sometimes conspiracies are true. For example, take MKUltra. The CIA did really do experiments about mind control on innocent people, and at least one of them went on to become a serial killer, Ted Kaczynski. In 1960, the French government did really send mercenaries to fight the Congolese government. In 1953, the British government did really let 3 million people die of starvation in the Bengalese famine. And in 1932, the United States did really experiment the effects on syphilis on black people by infecting them and then not telling them what they were sick of for more than 40 years. More recently, I remember when I heard the crazy conspiracy theory that a millionaire called Jeffrey Epstein had a private island where he abused children. And then it turned out that it was true. And I could go on, but the point is that conspiracies really do happen, and we should take at least some of them seriously. However, keep in mind that I say that we should take some conspiracy theories seriously, not that we should believe them. For example, I take seriously the conspiracy theory that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. I think it is perfectly possible that one of his accomplices had him killed to stop him from talking with authorities. However, that doesn't mean that I know for a fact that he did not kill himself. In fact, I am open to the possibility that maybe Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself. Taking a conspiracy theory seriously means that you are open to the possibility of it being true, and you are open to the possibility of it not being true. When we keep this in mind, we can look at people that really do believe in conspiracy theories and look at them with more compassion, if nothing else. However, let's go now to flat earthers and anti-vaxxers. But why these two conspiracy theories specifically? Well, because believing in most conspiracy theories does not change your life in any significant way. For example, you can believe that the moon landing was faked and just go on with your life as usual. If tomorrow it was proven to me beyond a doubt that Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself, nothing in my life would change. Or if it was proven that someone killed him and they captured that person, I would be glad. But again, my life would be the same. However, being a flat earther or an anti-vaxxer, it deeply changes your life and who you are as a person. Both of these conspiracy theories start from a principle, an axiom, something whose truth they are not going to question. And then they have to reconcile this principle with the world they see around them. And this is the point around which the conspiracy theory crystallizes. For example, anti-vaxxers believe that vaccines are actually harmful. This is their axiom. But this raises the question, why then are we told that they are actually good? And the answer is, it's all because of the greed of the pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies want to sell a product, and so they invented all of these things about vaccines so that people will buy them. And of course, there are some variations on this belief. For example, some people will go even further and say that pharmaceutical companies are working with the government and that they want to inject other things in people. Like, for example, that vaccines actually inject trackers so that the government can know where you are, or that they inject you with other illnesses so that then you get sick and then you have to spend even more money to get the cure for those other illnesses. The axiom of flat earthers is, of course, that the earth is flat. And this raises the question, why are we told that the earth is round? And they have three main answers for this question. The first one is that beyond our section of the disk, there are other continents and other people like Atlanteans, Lemurians, and other very advanced civilization. But that the elites who rule the world want to keep us isolated from them, and so they invented the conspiracy that the earth is round. The second answer is all about religion. They see how the Bible and the Quran mention that the earth is flat. And so they believe that this conspiracy to make people believe that the earth is round is only one step in a master plan to destroy religion by the powerful elites that rule the world. And of course, these elites, if they want to destroy religion, they have to be evil, and of course they have to be Satan worshippers. The third answer is that they don't know why the powerful elites that rule the world are hiding this information from people, but they are sure they must have some very, very evil plans behind it. Now, let's use what we learned from sovereign citizens and apply it to flat earthers and anti-vaxxers. Remember that sovereign citizens were motivated by a deep frustration. They were looking for a solution to an impossible problem. How does this apply to anti-vaxxers? Well, anti-vaxxers are clearly afraid, and they are afraid for their children. And it is perfectly understandable, because when you have a child, that child might be born with a disability or a genetic disorder, or they might get sick from an illness that you didn't even know about. And there are so many things that could go wrong. Of course they are afraid, of course they are worried. And of course it would be so great if there was one thing they could do to ensure that their children would always be safe. And so when someone comes and tells them that there is a solution, there is one thing they can do to keep their children safe, and it is simply to not vaccinate them, it sounds very tempting. They can just be free from the fear they have. They can be sure that they are protecting their children if they just don't do this one thing. In the case of flat earthers, I think the frustration is a lot more abstract. I think that these are people who love science, they love learning, and they truly believe that if we understand the universe better, if we do science, we can make the world a better place for everyone. But then they look around and the world sucks. And there are so many problems that science has not solved and is not close to solving. Then there's also the fact that when we got to the world, everything was already discovered. When we learned science, all the big problems have been solved. And so it seems that there's nothing for us to do. That there are all of these problems around the world, and there's nothing that we can do with science to fix them. Unless it turns out that science was wrong. When they are told that the world is actually flat, that this very, very basic fact about science was actually a lie, then there's the opportunity that they can do real science. They can find out the real truth, and then they can have a real understanding of the universe. And then they may actually make the world a better place. I think this is why flat earthers do so many experiments and they write books and they make documentaries, but more about that in a moment. Now we have used what we learned from sovereign citizens to have a better understanding about why people turn into anti-vaxxers or flat earthers. But there is one feature about these conspiracy theories that wasn't nearly as prominent with sovereign citizens, and that aspect is the community. When you become an anti-vaxxer, you become part of a ragtag team of concerned parents, People who only want the best for their children, and they are willing to fight against the powerful, mighty, and greedy pharmaceutical companies. David against Goliath. It sounds not so noble when you think about it like that. And then whenever you face consequences for being an anti-vaxxer, when your children are not allowed in schools because they are a danger to other children, when your friends and family try to get you to change your mind, whenever you have to go to the doctor and there is conflict or tension, whenever your child becomes sick from a preventable illness, you can always turn to the community, and they will sue the school district to force them to accept your children. You will have new friends that will tell you that you are doing the right thing. They will tell you that the doctors and nurses are actually or secretly on your side. And when your child gets sick, they will tell you that there was nothing that you could have done. And when you become a flat earther, you become part of a community that is, in my opinion, a lot nicer than sovereign citizens or anti-vaxxers. And these people are very productive and very creative. They write books, they make experiments, they make video games and songs, everything about the flat earth. And as they explain in the Netflix documentary Behind the Curve, they even have flat earther dating sites. Because once you believe this, it is very difficult to have a romantic relationship with someone that doesn't. And that's very interesting because believing that the earth is flat is one of those conspiracy theories that really shouldn't change too much how you change your life. But as it happens, having a completely different understanding about the universe than other people really is a very big issue, which I find very fascinating. In summary, we can see how some conspiracy theories being true, the deep desire for a solution to an impossible problem, and belonging to a very tight and nice community are big reasons why people turn to these kind of conspiracy theories. But there is one more thing. Sovereign citizens deny the government. Anti-vaxxers deny vaccines. Flat earthers deny that the earth is round. All of these movements are centered around denying things. And this is what connects them to other conservative and authoritarian movements around the world. For example, the UK government right now is centered around denying the European Union. The Polish government right now is centered around denying abortion rights. The US government, until just a couple of months ago when Trump was in power, was all about denying immigrants, denying healthcare, and denying taxes for the rich. And once I understood this, it made me understand a lot better why people believe and follow these political movements. But that's gonna be in the next video. If you want to watch that video, please subscribe and give me a like, and please go check my channel, go check the playlist, see if there's something there you like. And thanks for watching.